What's up, guys? Welcome back to the TurboJohn YouTube channel. This is a 2022 recap. Lots of stuff happening. Randy rebuilt his car. Devin done all the wiring, got everything rewired. Jason Brazel Performance, he done the turbo kit, hot side and cold side. Done a phenomenal job. That thing turned out superb. And I'm sure you remember this bright red paint job. That thing turned out awesome too. The Paint and Paper Hustle. Go check out his YouTube channel. He done a great job laying down that sleek paint. Now comes my car. I had been working on this thing for over a year. We kind of put on the brakes. I was scared, but we finally sent this thing to Junior Bissett. He done the 10 work on it, ended up turning out phenomenal, and decided we were going to go ahead and put this thing together. Now, there were some things on this car that I wish I could have redone, that I would have had money to redo it to make it a little bit better, but overall, the thing was going to work pretty good, I thought. So we got pretty close here, and this was the moment of truth. Motor comes out of the old car and it's going to the new home. The new car is sitting over there waiting on the motor. This is where there's no turning back. At this point, I knew that I had pulled the trigger enough to where we were going to have to continue. The new car was going to have to be built. I couldn't put on the brakes anymore. And that's what we did. That's exactly what we did. I realized that if I wanted to be competitive and be really competitive, we had to make this happen. This was a rush. This was a first outing with the car. We went to Darlington Dragway. Corey Stamper had a race, and we didn't even scale the car at this point. We barely got the car together. We were borrowing a hood from my buddy, and it's one of those things, it didn't look the best. We had this monster wing on the back, and that was definitely interesting. We've done a lot of cool things to this car. I think it's going to work out pretty good, but I was scared to death. When we went up there to make our first pass, it was nerve-wracking, guys. I'm not going to lie. I hadn't made any passes in the car. I hadn't even done a burnout with the car. I didn't even know how it was going to work, but check it out. The first outing, we didn't wreck the car, we didn't win, but it was a good success. First thing we needed to do was take that big monster hood off and put my old hood back on. So that's what we started doing. Scaled this thing out and quickly realized that we had all the weight off in the wrong spot. All the weight was off in the back, not the front. So we ended up having to add a ton of weight. But this is some more testing. Check this stuff out. So testing went really good at Glot. We made a couple passes and we headed down to Harold's Dragway, real local to us. Robert with Pennywise Racing was throwing his race, birthday bash, and the car was surprisingly working pretty well. I was really happy. Car was going some rounds. It was getting some wins. It was working. It was behaving the way I thought it should. And so this was a good start. This was a very good start. The car's getting out there. It's rolling. And we had the race won, I thought, if we didn't screw up. That's the thing with racing, guys. You got to race it. And I thought for sure that we had a good opportunity to win in our second race if I didn't screw it up. Wow, wow, wow. What a feeling, guys, to go out there with me and my team and win this thing, the second outing. I thought for sure this was going to be a good sign for the season. Bryan was right. We should have went 4-link a long time ago, and we were going to have some good success. Boy, oh boy, I was excited. Next race headed down to Thunder Valley. Sean Holmes was doing the race. This is backside with about 100-foot good starting line. And the car was acting kind of funny. It would get out there to the bad stuff and then knock the tires off. And then we would get out there and not go super fast. But we were having a good time. We were getting passes. We were making laps. Motor at this point was about a year old. So hopefully we had a bunch of good passes left in this thing. Got destroyed by Jake Boswell in this one. He outrun me. He ran out of my life. It was pretty bad. Next up, we headed to Roxborough. This was no prep, but out by 252 David Braxton. This was from the front side at Roxborough Drag Race. This was really fun. Had a good time. Car was getting better and better. It was still pushing left just a little bit, so we were still working on the suspension. But the car was behaving pretty decent. There again, I was pretty happy with it. Ended up going out, but we had a good time. It was really fun. Made a few more passes. That's what it's about, guys. Getting laps, getting data, and making progress. Y'all seen my old car, and y'all realize I don't care about looks that much, but I'd always liked the burnt orange look, and Bryan was going to help me, and so we decided we were going to paint this thing. Did it with some cheap single-stage paint with a little bit of flattening agent in it. It turned out phenomenal. Loved it. Now, Killdozer, he had some bad luck this year. He ended up switching over to solid roller, so he had problem after problem after problem. So hopefully this next year we'll have more passes out of Bryan. His car turned out really beautiful with that red. Let's go to the No Prep World Series. Dig or Die, they have 3 races a year. Always packed, always a ton of cars. So now for this one, we ended up putting a bunch of weight in the car. So we went out there and we tried to make some passes. Car was running pretty good, guys. It was not doing shabby. I was really happy with the car, the way it was responding, the way it was working to the changes, but we weren't quite where we needed to be. So the thing just went out there. We had some issues here and there, but overall a good outing with some good data. Got us the after hours grudge race with Gap Train, and Gap Train does what Gap Train does. He put the gap on us. Go check out their YouTube channel, MAKTV. Those guys are freaking flying. The old car is back. It looks a little different. It's a little odd. It's outside the box. Nick from Hustlin' Horsepower, go check out their YouTube channel as well. They borrowed the car, and we're going to run it for the season while they plan to get the new car fixed. Made it out. This was the first time, last minute. Had some good success. It showed some potential. Well, next outing, let's throw some radials on this thing. Let's go to Fayetteville. They were having a radial prep race. Took my car out there, and boy, it kind of showed us something a little bit. Showed us it could go on radial, separated really violently in the back, picked up the tires, threw the spring cups out of the back. It was a mess. But overall, I mean, this thing's got some potential on radials. Now, this was the only race of the season on radials, but I think we had some potentials. The car was still pushing left a little bit, so we added a nice little bullhorn. This thing hopefully is going to make it drive a little straighter. All right, here we go. Virginia NPK small tire. We were back on slicks, and we were trying to run this thing and see if we could get some good passes out of it and see if it would go any better. Oh, boy, there was not a bad pass, guys. Personal best of the weekend on the third pass out. This thing was really working well. We ended up going some rounds, having some good luck on Friday. Saturday come around, we went some rounds as well, and then I ended up making a stupid mistake. But check this stuff out. were having boost issues all weekend. I was playing with the boost controllers. I was playing with the solenoids, and I made a stupid mistake, and I over-adjusted one of them, and we had no boost. It made like half the boost it was making normally. Then our ride home ended in disaster. We ended up blowing the motor up in the old 1992 Monaco Executive. My fault. We run it out of oil, run it low. It wasn't out completely, but it was low, so it spun a bearing, and it destroyed it. Still can't get over how beautiful Randy's car turned out. He done a great job on this thing, putting it together. Courtney done a great job painting it. The whole team getting it together, and we were fighting it all season. I don't have a ton of video of it running through the season because most of it was spinning, knocking the tire off, or doing crazy stuff. Back at Roxborough doing our front side no prep race. Didn't have a ton of cars turn out for this one. Then we ended up getting caught with the weather, but we did make some good passes, and we had a good time. This was a big change. We were finally going to get those eBay wastegates off, and we were putting some Black Sheep Industry wastegates on. These things have O-rings. They don't have the diaphragm, so you don't have to worry about rupturing it. Go check them out, Black Sheep Industries. At Fayetteville, this is prepping for no prep. This is front of the track during their normal test and tune, so the track wasn't super sticky. Oh boy, check this out. 10 Soldiers race cars. They have a thing to make the upper bar shorter, giving you better instant center locations, making the car work better. This was our attempt to put it on. I didn't quite get done with it because I'm not super confident in where I need to put it. My welding skills are not the best, and this thing looks phenomenal. I maybe just end up letting 10 Soldiers install this thing for me in this next year. So here we go, another back of the track. This is at Fayetteville, our first time ever going here, and this was super, super, super slick. Probably the slickest surface I've ever been on. It was worse than Rockingham. It was worse than Darlington. I was really, really struggling to make my car even remotely go down this thing. And, you know, it is what it is, guys. I mean, everybody's got to race the same surface, but this was the rolling burnouts for me. We did end up picking us up another motorhome. This one's a new to us, 2006. Hopefully it'll end up making us a good motorhome. Smart car had some issues. Had to put a new clutch on it, new clutch actuator. That was a pain in the butt. But luckily Mike let me do it over at his shop so I could do it on the lift. And then we got hooked up with TRS. We sent our struts off to him. He got us some long travel. Jeff Thomas Racing Service. Y'all check him out if y'all want some awesome struts. Next up, Fayetteville Motorsports Park. We were JJ the Boss, no prep, front side. Mike had his out. His run really good. He made a lot of rounds. Unfortunately for us, we drew Lyle with beer money, and we had a really tight race, but he come out on top. It was a chore, man. It was hot. I was sweaty. Car run good, though, but not quite fast enough. The very next day, backside Darlington, made a bunch of changes, went down there, and made some good passes. But, man, this is really struggling. Going from front side to back side, there's a lot of changes. I built this car with hopes that I wouldn't have to change a ton of stuff between the two, but that is not happening. Finally, some halfway decent passes with Randy's car. We come to the conclusion that this thing is a bear, It is faster than what we anticipated, and we got to have perfect track conditions. We got to have good radial prep to go racing with Randy's car. This is something I wanted to do for a while, and I finally done it. The Brake Man, TBM, they do awesome brakes. Check out the difference between these old front brakes and the TBMs. That's crazy per side, and the friction, these things have no friction. They spin forever. The Brake Man, go check them out. Knoxville Dragway, we made it. We made it. We thought the weather was going to cooperate, but it ended up raining us out on Saturday. Friday night, made a one pass. We had a great time. Can't wait to do that. We're actually doing that race, the makeup, January the 14th of 2023. So y'all come check us out. We got wet. I mean, we really got wet. It was raining like crazy. We got the car back in the trailer. Luckily, it wasn't too bad, but we ended up getting the race in. This was a bad race date for us also. The weather was bad, but Matt with DNR Auto, go check out his YouTube channel as well. We ended up making it out to his race and had a great time. Ended up doing some match racing. Brent Austin with his new Camaro kicked our teeth in. It was bad. It was brutal. He was super fast, but we had a lot of weight in the car. We were trying to prepare for the next back of the track race. And here it is, back at Rockingham, back at the track, Dig or Die. We teamed up with Houston Payton. Go check out his YouTube channel as well, KOTV. As always, Dig or Die is awesome. We had a blast. Cars getting faster. Made it to some money, but not quite where we need to be yet.
TurboJohn going on down.
Made another couple good passes with Randy's car. This was another good outing. Made a good pass here, and then we made it to the next round and had to race Jason Richards, and he is super fast. But another good solid pass, making progress with Randy's. Here we go, testing that Galot, trying to get some more data, trying to get faster. And we had a few issues. Car tire shook pretty hard, turn off. Next pass, we turn it down, and then it ends up blowing the hood off of it. I don't know if y'all remember that. Blowed the hood off of it, destroyed the GoPro camera. it was a mess. It was the start of some bad things. If you notice, there's sparks under the car too. Check that out. Back at Piedmont again with Randy's. Still struggling, but starting to make progress, I think. I felt we were a little low on timing, but I wanted some professional help. So we reached out to Kevin, TKM, slapped it on the hub dyno, picked up about 100 horsepower, and we were indeed low on timing. But here's some of the dyno pulls. Made 2,550 horsepower at the hub. Unbelievable. So working back on mine, the sparks we saw on the last pass was indeed the thrust bearing being pushed out of my motor. So we got Danny Perry and Bobby over at B&D Automotive to finish the aluminum block, get it together so we could assemble it. Motor went together pretty easy, didn't see anything wrong, didn't think we had any issues. Had to change camshafts, and this new camshaft, it was a problem. It took forever to spool. But we ended up making it to Clifton Claws race down at North Myrtle Beach. It was a banger. There was a ton of people there, a lot of good fast cars, but we ended up going out second round. Had a great time, but the spooling issue was a problem, and it was the camshaft's fault. Here we go. We're back at Piedmont with Randy's car. Carolina No Time, small tire. So this was one of those races where the track is good. We know we need to go fast. We just picked up 100 horsepower, so it should run really good. So we put a good tune-up in it. It was going to go fast. Now, we were a little bit light on help today. With Milton not being there, he normally lines them up on the front. I needed to do double duty, lining them up, getting them in the beams, and recording. Usually I'm standing behind the car, making sure the car is going straight. This time I failed. I was in front of the car, and I didn't have anybody in the back lining them up. This is the result. Randy was only on the gas for 1.5 seconds. Car tracked left a little bit, got out of the groove, and turned sideways. All you can do is the best you can do, and he done a great job minimizing the damage in this unfortunate situation. It sucks, but it's going to be rebuilt and coming back. Playing with dump valves on mine, trying to get the thing to spool better. It worked. However, I burnt the transmission up, so I had to change planetaries. Back at Harold's to do some testing on a test and tune day. Not a lot of cars, but the track was a little bit too sticky for what we were trying to do. So it was tire shaking a little bit, but it was driving through it. Got a personal best with the aluminum motor run really strong. Went back to Galot for some testing, got this really cool picture. That was all we got. And we noticed that we were leaking water, so we needed to change head gaskets. And while we were changing head gaskets, we also decided we were going to go ahead, get some new headers, rebuild the turbo kit. Turbo kit was old, outdated, and it was pretty big pipe and not the best with the longer tube. So we wanted to see if we could make this thing spool any better. It really seemed to work. The car was spooling a little faster, a little bit snappier. And here we go, NPK, No Prep Kings in Rockingham. Second round. Oh boy, we got issues now. We are currently under the weather, not running. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sweet.
Tell that dog on. Yeah.
Bump it. Bump it. Bump it. Bump it.
That might feel crazy. This one is
So once again, the new aluminum block is fighting me. It's fighting me hard. Enjoying some family time. But we found us a new crank. Bobby had one up there at the shop. So we got that. We ended up 409 cubic inches. So we had to get some new rods, use the same pistons, got a different camshaft as well. So we're going from 360 cubic inches to 409. So got that thing installed in the car, run pretty good, was really peppy. Now we had spool up time drastically reduced, but we did end up having a little bit of boost creep issues. But here we go, let's go test it. So testing at Thunder Valley, they were doing a race, but we rolled on up to the bad stuff because we were trying to prepare for dig or die, and it worked. It worked. The car was getting better, and it was getting faster. Here we go, dig or die. This is first round after the weather. We had to race a big block Pro Charge car, and we got the win.
Give me that. I already know what it is. Oh, wait. Oh, he said he's got to look. That had to be a good race. Jake, you're pointing to the wrong lane. This lane clearly won. Man, it was this one by a mile. That's why he's got to look. The cars aren't in the same frame. You know what I mean? Like he saw it, and he was like, where's the other one at? Left lane. He looked at it. Left lane. Yeah!
Trying to fix an oil pressure issue, a drain back issue. David Brinkley had this old vacuum pump, so he gave it to us so we could try it. Got our Christmas tree partially up. It was a fun, exciting day. Then off to 710. We were first round up. We had to race Nick, our buddy. Car done really well, but we missed the tune-up. We forgot to tighten the front struts, and so she done a little wheelie, and I had to pedal it, which I don't think I could have won anyway because he was out on me. But all in all, that was the last race of the season. We had a blast. 2022 is in the books. Car is getting faster. Randy's working on parts and pieces to get his stuff rebuilt, and we're making progress. We are making progress. We're having a good time. 2023, can't wait to see what happens with 2023. A lot of racing happening. Hope to see you guys at the track. We will be at the track a lot this year. There's a lot of racing happening. We're not going to be able to make every single race just because simply the cost associated with getting there. And then when you also get the buy-ins, it makes for very expensive weekends. Hopefully we'll see you guys out at the tracks. We'll try to keep y'all updated where we're going. Try not to make any very, very last-minute decisions, but sometimes we do wait last minute looking at weather and looking at cost, looking at how many cars are going to be at the event, if it's going to make it worth our while. Cars in the trailer. We still got work to do. Let's go work on it now, and then we will see y'all soon. I appreciate everybody. Happy New Year's 2022. We will see y'all next year in the year 2023. Can't believe it, guys. I'll comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks, guys.